post-lunch sessions, it's a cliche saying that everybody is yawning, feeling sleepy, and the onus is not on me, Aditya. Onus is on these guys because I think their uh, conversation would actually lead you to feel enlightened and awakened. And but I hope they don't fall asleep. So maybe we can have some coffee for them on the stage. But all of you, thank you so much for joining us today. I know you guys have been busy, but taking our time for this conversation shows your commitment towards what we are going to be discussing today. And you know, I want to begin the conversation with trying to understand what has changed when we talk about marketing. We've seen digital come in. Digital has moved on to chat GPT, AI. We've seen pandemic where the consumer preferences have changed, consumer engagement has changed. So how has marketing changed? And what do you think are the expectations from the marketing head, and what are the expectations of the marketing head is what I really wish to know from all of you. So whoever wants to go in first, Pallavi, would you want to begin with?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. First of all, thank you very much, Harbinder, to have me a part of this panel. It's always good for me. It's good fun for me to return back to my home city. Delhi is my home city, although I live in Bangalore right now. Now to
We see
answer,
you wearing a jacket.
I get the chance to wear jackets and red jackets. Okay. What has changed really, right? And this is a lot of it has changed. You know, pre-COVID versus post-COVID, there have been changes. And over the last, I've been with Redbus, heading the marketing function for the last 9 years, and I've also seen how my role has changed as a marketer over these years. Okay. So although now, technically I'm the CMO, but I feel I'm many hats rolled into one. I'm a CDO, I'm a Chief Data Officer, I'm a in many ways, CTO, Tech Officer. I'm a CCO, Chief Creative Officer. I am Chief Revenue Officer. So I'm all of it. I'm all of that, all of these things. I'm a Chief Business Officer, not to forget. But the role that I connect with the most in all of this is the Chief Consumer Officer, because I feel that today, in the way organizations are structured, marketing folks are the closest to the consumer, and we are the voice of the consumer in the organization. So we are the advocates of the consumer. So that's I think it's a big change that has happened in terms of my role, the way I see it. Then the other aspects of my role, which seem to have changed now, is I have to have a bird's eye view of what's going on. So I take decisions like which market to launch the brand in, uh, and I have to go really granular, really deep. I have to look at how one line item of a particular campaign is performing on DV360. So that's how the role is. It's very I have a role of you know a very very wide role, and I have a very deep role at the same time.
Awesome. Ipshita, would you want to share your views on what has changed?
Yeah, thanks. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody's awake. I think, having spent a lot of years in this, being a practitioner of marketing, I think I would say our roles are constantly evolving. And I would say the biggest evolution that I see today vis-a-vis, say, 5, 10 years ago is that the essence of accountability. I think marketers, as a chief marketing officer today, and I've done various roles in marketing, I think the level of accountability that is expected from this role has really increased. So, gone are the days where marketing is only supposed to deliver fancy campaigns, cutting edge creatives, have a nice digital marketing campaign, have a great social media page. I think all that is now hygiene. What's expected is how close you are to the business. I think how business, efficiencies are being driven through you. Are you driving in growth? I would say my role is more of a chief growth officer than anything else in the company today. And I think questions are being asked, and rightly so. So I think accountability is the driving force today, much more than what it was earlier. And I think it's making us better. I think as practitioners of this function, it's only making us better and getting us closer to accountability and to revenues.
Lovely. Tathagat, I mean, you come from a initially beginning with traditional marketing, then moved on to the new age marketing, and then from a company which was a really large brand to a business which is more profit focused. What changes have you seen, and what do you see as what is expected of you as a marketer?
Well, yeah. Firstly, thank you for inviting, and business world special because a lot of times used to actually get the physical magazine. That habit is kind of not so much prevalent, but yeah, it's there. And also, I agree with a lot with what Pallavi and Ipshita has to say. So I will not repeat that. But just going back to your question, that what's really changed? Uh, it's actually a little presumptuous to say that COVID. What changed for marketing? COVID was really a world-changing, a life-changing, once-in-a-lifetime kind of a moment. And there were some hangovers for it. While it was there, people were like extra, cautious, be it in whatever behavioral ways. But and it led to, I come from a smartphone or technology industry, so the kind of people were confined. So naturally, the usage went up from, let's say, 3 to 4 hours to 6 to 7 hours a day. Those were really the effects, direct effects of it. But as marketeer, one needs to also understand that what are the things that changed for good. There was so much uncertainty and so much happened, both positive and negative. People lost livelihoods to jobs to all of that. As a result of that, so one sidelight which kind of came in is that a lot of people are doing revenge shopping or revenge this or revenge that. That's a very, very small way to look at it. What really has happened is that people have started to respect their own well-beings, their families' well-beings, and the need, so much so that always saving for a rainy day to actually living more in the present. That's one of the key trends, and it is across categories that we see that the sense of well-being is being important in your Maslow's hierarchy, and it's rising up. That has changed, and that has led to a lot of sentiment and optimism going up. So that's, I would say, is the change. As far as role is concerned, I think again, taking off from what Ipshita said, is that if you are a marketeer, I mean, that's a role that a certain organizational structure has given you, that you're the marketing head, somebody's the sales head. But honestly, once you passed a certain level of competency in a different function, unless you are business focused, any industry, you are simply not taken seriously. You do not get a seat on the table unless you are actively driving, monitoring, and shaping growth. uh, your title is meaningless. That's it.
Absolutely. I think you brought in a very different perspective to pandemic because I come from a healthcare industry. Every time I ask what has changed after pandemic, it always boils down to immunity and information. Yeah, but what is you touched upon a very important aspect in terms of how people are behaving and how people are looking at uh, their perspective to life and everything that they do in that. One of the things that we have seen in the recent times is the advancement of technology, and that is happening in every field that we look into: chat GPT, AI. But to my mind, these are all tools to make things happen, right? What are some of the trends that you have observed in 2023 as an outcome of technology advancement, and which are impacting how marketing is happening today, and what is it that will continue to happen in 2024? So, Ipshita, would you want to begin with? Let's start with you.
Sure. As you rightly said, I think a lot of, and I, as a marketer, I'm saying this, but a lot of jargon is thrown around, right? We all know these technologies which are coming in and impacting how we look at business. But I think these are all just manifestations. These are not trends. These are just tools, as you rightly said, and just manifestations of certain shifts which are perhaps happening in our socio-cultural, environment that we are in. I think one that I definitely see is that consumers are completely spoiled for choice, right? And no matter which industry you look at, there is overdose of information. There is overtly enormous level of choice that's existing, which is what is leading to lesser consumer attention span also, I would say. And we can always say that it's the younger generation, but look at us, how, we are also, maybe if you reflect how we are spending our days today, how much time we are actually giving to things and chores vis-a-vis what we used to do earlier. I think reducing attention span is a big change, shifts that we are seeing. Spoiled for choice, and I think all the technologies that you see are just gearing themselves to address these changes that we are seeing around us. How it impacts us, I would think we need to become far more responsible as brands, as marketers in this environment. Because there's no point in me broadcasting information anymore, because information is already out there about my brand. How I choose to be accurate as a brand, how do I interact with my consumer in a more accurate manner, because trust and empathy gets lost when there is so much choice in information. And that's where I think more responsibility as a marketer comes in. So I think those are the trends, and I'm sure we all are aware of the digital privacy, those acts coming in. I think we need to be very aware that there is consent involved in every piece of data that I'm asking today. How is that going to change my life as a marketer? I think these are big shifts which are happening around us, and we all have to evolve and see how we tackle these changes.
Pallavi, you want to share something?
Yeah. In fact, one thing that I would like to share right away is we were having a discussion, behind the scenes right now with the panel, and something came up, and it just struck me that one of the big changes that have happened, post COVID, is that from weak, social connections through, or through platforms like LinkedIn. What has changed in a big way is now this is the time of human connections. So brands that are more humane, that connect with you at a very human level, will make a big impact in the times to come. So more socially conscious brands. Also, that is perhaps one of the reasons why today the key opinion leaders, which you call the influencers, they have a better influence on you than casting a big sports celebrity, right? Or a big actor, because that person is sitting, he's perhaps never used your product. He's everything that he has or she has. But it is these folks which are there, who you are seeing every day on your social media channels, who perhaps are influencing various things you're doing in your life. Okay? So it's about being human and it's about being humane, these two things. Then what's also happening now in continuation of that, right? There's a big trend that's out there where people are watching a lot of lifestyle videos, okay? So as a brand, today, one thing that we are going to see happening, and what we are also seeing happening at our end with Redbus, an ad film starring Allu Arjun and a lifestyle video starring a nobody, okay? They're perhaps performing as well in terms of view rates, in terms of CTRs, etc. But a lifestyle film which is very relevant. So, we start to question that, what are some of these investments leading us to, okay? Because again, people are believing a lifestyle video is just a slice of life kind of video where your product is being consumed in a natural environment. So there's a trend there that's happening. There's another trend, of course, we all know, and which is WhatsApp, right? WhatsApp commerce is taking off. We have recently launched our funnel on the Redbus funnel on WhatsApp, and we are beginning to see traction there too. So then another trend that seems to be picking up, which is sentiment marketing. Okay, we've seen that happen with Cred, where nostalgia is being marketed. Closer home, within Redbus itself, we launched a campaign called Route to 47 for Independence Day, where we used open source Google Maps, and we identified 47 different locations which were important in the freedom struggle of India. And this was absolutely a co-created campaign where users were asked to upload information, things, about that place, about the freedom movement and the connection with that city. And every time anybody was Googling that city, Redbus results surfaced. And this was, so I see a lot of this happening, a lot of sentiment marketing that will happen, over the next year or so.
I think the two things that, the two R's that are emerging from what you just said are relevancy and relatability.
Yeah.
Whether it's sentiment or being able to relate to that nobody as against a celebrity.
Yeah.
What is your take on it? What are the trends that you have observed in what you do?
You started off buying, let's say, saying chat GPT and all of that. So one of the things that I feel that marketeers should resist at all levels is to look at what's the latest trend. Because trends are like fads, they rise up, they go down. How many in this room would now remember something the word as NFT or cryptocurrency, which people could not get, finish a conversation without mentioning it 12 to 15 months back. It just, died like Binance and Bitcoins. So you have to first true to your own business that is there something really changes that is happening that affecting us in a fundamental level. Then comes this that secondary level that what is giving more incremental return, etc. There is one thing which is always on the horizon for last 2 3 years, and Ipshita also talked about digital privacy. The whole aspect of digital privacy and the first party data, and that deadline is just looming, and it is extending every 6 months 1 year. But as a result of it, many of my friends in different companies from 21 onwards have started saying kabhi na to hoga. So let's better, the earlier the thing is that we will get the consumer base, we'll try and remarket, we'll try and spam. No, this is our core, our consumer base. To protect that base and to really have first hand control over it, that has taken a sort of prominence in among the 10 things that we have in our checklist. That first look at the the consumer base. So that is something which is not a recent trend of 23, but that is something which is actually led to actionable. So at whatever point the plug gets pulled by governments or antitrust or Google, I hope brands will be in a better position to address that than they were three.
That's very beautifully pointed out that trends could be visible in terms of how we are doing what we are doing, but जो हम कर रहे हैं वो तो basic fundamental marketing है which has not changed over a period of time. Uh, since we are talking of technology, Pallavi, my next question is to you that we all have fundamental objectives of marketing, and that is to reach out to the audience, be relevant to them. How is the Gen AI, I mean, what our topic today is Gen AI to Gen Z, uh, how is the marketing of today influencing the Gen AI uh, to impact what Gen Z should be doing as an outcome of our marketing efforts?
I think this is an excellent question. Excellent question. To be able to answer this question, let's just, I'm going to try and understand what are some of the, let's call the word symptoms of Gen Z, okay? So Gen Z is very fickle-minded, okay? So therefore, the retention discussion becomes even tougher in the case of Gen Z. So at our end, we use AI to predict the churn propensity, the uninstall propensity, the dormancy propensity of audiences, and mostly a lot of it is Gen Z only on our platform because you have students and early jobbers, students in fact. So therefore, AI has a huge role to play in many of our marketing interventions that we do for this cohort of users, okay? So this was the first point, which is the fact that they're very fickle-minded. Secondly, they want personalized experiences. Again, you need to talk to them, it's to be really personalized. Now, whether it is within the funnel, whether it's outside the funnel, so as soon as somebody lands on our platform, we are able to identify, for basis the past purchase history, our AI kicks in and tries to figure out, what kind of buses the user likes, what is the favorite route the user traveled on, does he like an AC bus, a non-AC bus, what kind of seat the user likes. So all of these things are powered by AI, right? Then the communication that we send out, the customer loyalty management related communication that goes out, whether it's a push notification or an email, we try to personalize it as far as possible, all using AI. The whole bunch of variables again on the same lines, right? We have cart abandonment campaigns. We have search campaigns. We have sign up campaigns. A whole bunch of campaigns that kick in when a user comes on the platform, and we try to identify who that person is. And most of it is, of course, AI powered. Okay. Then the third thing is that the Gen Z is a very instant everything culture. Okay, they want everything instantly. So we have a program called Program Bolt, where we, for a certain cohort of queries, we provide almost instant resolution, which is about resolution of queries in 2 hours. Okay, a lot of it again is powered by AI. So these are some of the examples I have. Now there are non-AI examples as well, but very reflective of Gen Z. We have because they are all mobile first. They don't use emails that much, so we have non-email sign-up flows. Then we have, as I said, they're very socially conscious. So as brands, you need to make sure that you're perceived as a socially conscious brand. So there are some of the things, some of the facets of a Gen Z that need an AI to power who they are.
You said that the Gen Z is a very fickle-minded gen,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Tell me one thing. What I have observed, or what I'm observing these days, is that Gen Z, even at work,
Yeah.
they're very experimental. They try out stuff,
Yeah.
and then they realize that कुछ तो missing है, ये नहीं अच्छा लग रहा, वापस कर दो. I mean, we've seen Amazon Pay. We have moved to what the Western world used to be, that buy it, if you don't like it, we'll return it. Just let's buy it and try it, right?
Yeah.
And when you're collecting this information or this data using AI, etc., how reliable is this information for decision making?
This is all first party data. So this is absolutely reliable. This is from our own database, looking at their transaction, purchase history, their behavior on our platforms. So this is, in that sense, absolutely reliable.
Okay.
Yeah.
But any other view on this in terms of getting information which is based on their actions, but then you realize कि इन्होंने experiment किया था, but ये future के लिए काम नहीं करेगा. Is that true?
I think it's a very interesting point because, and that's where I think humans come in, right?
Yeah.
So, and because, and that's where, I always say that, tools are tools, but data is data, but generating insights out of the data is my job. That, artificial intelligence cannot replace that. So I think that's where the whole, our roles come in, and that's where our experience and intelligence comes in. I think that's where I think the role is also changing from our perspective. It's not just looking at what's coming to us. How can I derive meaningful insights which are actionable for me? I think, and you really touch upon a very interesting point, and that's a challenge because sometimes in our whole thing of automating and outsourcing everything, we may just get bogged down by what's being thrown at us and not being able to decipher the patterns. I think deciphering the patterns and the insights is becoming more challenging because of what you just said. I would just like to add to one thing that Valvi mentioned very rightly, so that while on one hand we say that this generation is very fickle and experimental, and two other things that I have noticed, and I have Gen Z at my home as well, is that socially conscious, absolutely. They may seem very indifferent, but they are not. They are very aware. They're very connected with the sustainable development goals. They want to know the purpose. I have a teenager, and they want to know the purpose of why, mom, you're doing this. What is the purpose of this campaign? So I think at one level they are very serious as well. And the second piece is that this is a fearless generation. Absolutely fearless. They will take risks, they will fall, there's no shame in falling. They'll get up and they'll run again. I think these are two interesting things that I really love this about this generation, and I wish I can learn more from them.
Absolutely. I think, you've touched upon two important aspects that I have observed, which is egoless and fearless. This is what defines, and they're really, really concerned about the planet, I think, more
That's
than what
beautiful,
our
egoless.
generation.
I like that,
Right?
egoless, yeah.
Yeah. Anything that you would want to add based on your experiences?
Well, yeah. Honestly, I still try to struggle. I struggle to find the exact difference of where a millennial stops and a Gen Z begins. Sometimes the lines are
And
blurred.
Gen Z and Gen Alpha.
Exactly.
There too, right?
So I think lots has already been said. So what I would also say that apart from the focus on and the seriousness, sustainability, they are also a lot apart from being aware. Yes, they are very very conscious. So let's say whichever industry you represent, if you want to talk to them, the whole concept of whether it's your product or offerings or any communication being authentic has probably risen a new step that you will lose them despite all the
Very good
glamour
point.
you throw at them if you're not authentic, and they'll read through it. They'll see through you if you're not authentic. So that becomes very very important. Some of the things, yes, whether it is learning or artificial intelligence, you will always get the data. But if predicting about customers was so easy, then a tool can come and just solve our problems. So hang in there. No, if you're good, jobs are there.
Awesome. Awesome. So it's fearless, egoless, and authentic. Right? Awesome. Now, I remember when I was working at Google, and that was the first time I got exposed to something called product marketing. And I did not know कि ये अलग department क्यों है, ये अलग क्यों है, why do they work with product managers and not as a part of the marketing team, etc. But that was very unique to tech companies or companies that were working on tech products, tech services. But today, when I look at marketing, every department, like for example, finance, innovation, R&D, etc., which traditionally used to work in their own silos, have customer focusing, customer engagement, right? In this age, when all of this is a reality, how is marketing dealing with interdepartmental dependencies? Whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, I think it's very very important. It's at a uh, at a fundamental business level also. Obviously, I think how the role of the marketer has changed, I think we've already covered that. In terms of aligning the goals, if you are a subject matter expert in certain things, you cannot sit in your own
Silo.
island or silos. It is up to you to actually go. It is not even the CEO. You have to go to the CFO as well as much as the CEO to align. It's not a question of, it becomes sometimes humorous that okay, he's the one who is signing off your budgets. No, he will, he needs to get aligned to the broader objectives that you are setting. And it is always starts off with, because traditionally it's not been a business centric or business forward function. So as you get to a certain level, you have to align the entire C suites onto what objectives that you are chasing, how is your path different from the others, etc. So that level of education, it's an ongoing 24/7. That really has to happen. I don't think I remember your second part of the question, but I think this is something which I feel is an absolute must. And it's part of, I mean, the way I see it, it is part of the day job. You do not need to take out special sessions. Anything that you do, it needs to have that alignment.
Awesome. Pallavi, how do you deal with interdepartmental dependencies
Yeah.
at Redbus?
Yeah, again, another excellent question. Okay, so frankly, I do not think I can deliver on any of my objectives without this interdependency. So if you look at what I have to drive as a sole metric, that one metric, that one big metric as a marketing person, it is new user acquisition. Okay, I have to get new users at scale. Now for that conversion to happen, a new user conversion to happen on my platform, everything that goes behind it needs to work properly. When I say it goes behind it, uh, when the user lands on our platform, he should see enough choice, right? Enough number of buses at their time of the day, for their market. Everything needs, all that has to be there, which means that I have to work very closely with the supply team, which is getting the supply on our platform. Second, the product needs to be functioning top notch, right? The conversion rates on our platform have to be top notch. So we have to work very closely with the product guys. So that has to work. I have to work very now I get a user on the platform. He's taken the trouble of clicking on the banner, the ad, then landing on our platform, then going down the funnel. He's interacting with the product. You have to often sweeten the conversion for him. So I have to work with the finance team to get those offers. And finally, the user, applies the offer and does the transaction. So the interdependency is of a different nature altogether. And then of course the CTO, we have to be very closely working with the engineering team to make sure that all of it is working fine for my objective to be met. So it's really interdependent, yeah. And now as you know, as TJ and Ipshita also pointed out, the role of a marketing person is not just creating awareness or reach and some of those things. It's new user acquisition. It's very, very closely linked to business.
Correct.
I need to know what's happening in which market. I need to know this is seasonality in which market. I need to know what is shrinking, what is growing, what are the trends. I need to know all of this. So I need to, at a market level, if I have an objective to increase or double the number of seats in a market like Madhya Pradesh, I need to make sure there's price parity on ground, right? My prices are equal to offline. They should not be more. I need to, there are lots and lots of things I need to get into to make sure that I am able to deliver on my role. And all of it is highly interdependent on various functions within the organization.
Got it.
Yeah.
No, I think, very rightly said, I don't think any of us can deliver on what we are supposed to deliver if we don't. There is no other option but to collaborate. But I just want to say one interesting thing. It's complex. It's not easy. While we all are aligned to larger organizational goals and we have the charters very clearly laid out, and more so in an ROI so in my organization, profit and loss is my accountability as much as it is of sales. So P&L sits with me. So therefore, there is no other option but to work together with finance. And it's not very easy to explain to finance why I want to do this campaign. So it is complex. So it is a lot about unlearning a lot of things that I have learned and learning new things and new skills. So, and I think that's what makes our roles very interesting nowadays, because if you have to deliver ROI, you have to deliver eventual business growth, there is no choice but to collaborate and unlearn, I think, a lot of things that we've done traditionally.
Since we're talking of objectives, the CMO's role is very critical to the objective of the CEO, because he's got a larger perspective of the organization. He's got a goal which includes management of finances, retaining the staff, customer engagement, customer acquisition, and growth of the business, and above all, ensuring that we are sustainably profitable over a period of time. How do you think, in the changed environment of today, is the aligning of the CMO's objectives to the CEO's core objective? How do you think that can be managed?
I think that's absolutely critical, because the CMO's role is perhaps one of the closest to the CEO's role. And why I say this, because a CMO is, in my mind, is actually the balancer between short, medium, and long-term goals. So when a long-range plan or a strategy has to be made, who would a CEO look at? Would look at the marketer. Why? Because the marketer is the closest to the consumer. is getting you the insights, not of today, but also what can happen 10 years from now. So I think extremely critical to first of all align to that philosophy that our role is the closest to that of the CEO, and we need to balance that. A lot of the times, if you have a sales hat, it's very easy to get bogged down by last month's sale, next quarter sale, and only focus on that. It's the marketer who brings in that view that yes, today's number is important, but how do you sustain it? So I think I am very fortunate that I work in a culture where there's a complete alignment and very, very close working, and therefore getting a full 360-degree view of not just my function, but what's happening in supply chain, what's happening in HR. People, I think people, we all, a lot of the times when we craft our strategies, we underestimate the importance of people and HR in it. I may be having growth targets of 2x in the next 5 years. I want to grow double than the industry. Do I have the right resourcing available with me? Who will align HR on that? What are the kind of people? What are the competencies, skills? I would know that very well because I know the vision of the CEO. So I think from that perspective, it's very, very critical to align closely, and more marketers are doing that today.
Anyone else who wants to?
Yeah, I think I'll answer it in a couple of parts. Is that primarily, let's say, for a tech industry, it's very, very important to have at least a 18 to 24-month view, because your commitments towards technologies and the investments that you would do with the products that are coming 12 to 15 months from now gets locked in now. So those investments can go awry in this financial year if you're not bringing in to your best estimates from various data points about how what kind of work in terms of, because it is so competitive and there is so much of parity, you have to get your best data forward. So to that aspect, the CEO pretty much relies on CMO or of being the fountainhead of data in the company. Secondly, an organizational's goal, apart from being people, also deals a lot. Yes, it deals a lot with people, motivation, and how to get the larger team aligned to the CEO's goals as well. Working closely with HR internally to achieve that. Plus, there are business partners, and there are multiple stakeholders across from government to various other functions which are critical, from to your suppliers to your tech partners, etc. What story to what view, what kind of a vision that the organization carry across all these partners? Ultimately, it gets filtered, disseminated through the marketing's office. So in a way, it is an ally. Definitely, the CEO relies a lot on that, and the responsibility of the CMO definitely gets elevated to deliver on that. I mean, these are the 2 or 3 things that immediately come to mind.
Okay, I think I'd like to just sum it up, and both Ipshita and TJ have made excellent points here. So if I were to sum this up and my understanding of it, if the CEO is the head of the organization, the CMO is the heart of the organization. And the head and the heart need to work in tandem.
Brilliantly put. With that, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you
for
very
listening
much.
to us.
Thank you so much.